Welcome to the Explainer. So if you've been keeping an eye on the tech job market lately, you know things are just moving at lightning speed. I mean, 2 years ago, generative AI was basically a fun buzzword. Today, in 2026, it's a non-negotiable line item in almost every major company's hiring plan. Our goal today is to really demystify this fast-evolving world of Gen AI certifications and show you exactly how to prove your skills in a pretty crowded market. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for the Explainer today. We'll start with the 2026 AI talent gap, define what Gen AI certifications actually are, and look at the careers and the payoff. Then, we'll run through the top certs right now, the essential tool stack, and wrap up with your specific career path. Don't worry, we'll map this all out for you. Section 1. The 2026 AI talent gap, the macro environment. So before we even talk about the how, we've got to understand the why. Like, why are these certifications suddenly dominating tech recruitment? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Basic economics. According to NASSCOM data, we are currently seeing AI talent demand growing at a massive 40% year over year. But here's the catch. The supply of genuinely skilled, production-ready professionals, that's only growing at about 15 to 20%. That structural talent gap is massive. And honestly, that is your opportunity. Think about that for a second. We have officially crossed the threshold where enterprises aren't just playing around with AI anymore. They are operationalizing it across finance, healthcare, software, marketing, you name it. AI fluency has entirely shifted from nice to have to expected. And when a skill becomes a baseline requirement, the professionals who can actually verify and prove they have those scarce skills, they move straight to the front of the hiring queue, period. So how exactly do you signal to a recruiter that you can actually do the work and you're not just, talking about the hype?
Well, that brings us to Section 2. What are Gen AI certifications? Verifiable skills.
Generative AI certifications are structured, assessment-backed credentials. And let's be clear, they are completely different from those generic, hey, I completed an AI course badges. A real certification verifies testable competencies. It proves to an employer that you actually understand how large language models work, that you can design reliable prompts, and that you know how to build retrieval-augmented generation, or RAG, systems to connect models to private company data without it hallucinating all over the place. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're looking at terms like RAG and LLMs and thinking, wait, do I need to know how to code to get certified? It is a super common anxiety. But the answer is, well, it depends entirely on your career goals. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the two distinct paths available. If you're a product manager, a consultant, or an executive, you can jump on the business and leader track. This requires zero coding, none. It focuses purely on strategy, use case identification, and responsible AI adoption. But if you're a builder, you'll definitely want the developer and engineer track. That one requires hands-on Python coding, working with APIs, and building actual applications. You just need to self-identify your lane. But let's say you put in the hours, you pass the exams, you get certified. What is the actual concrete payoff for your career? Let's talk numbers in Section 3, the careers and payoff, return on investment. The financial leverage here is honestly massive. Industry data tells us that adding generative AI, large language model, or MLOps skills to a baseline technical profile can lift job offers by up to 40%. That is compared to generalist machine learning roles at the exact same experience level. Why? Because you are directly impacting the bottom line. You are providing immediate business value. And these credentials unlock some incredibly sought-after roles. We're talking generative AI engineer, LLM engineer, prompt engineer, AI product developer, RAG or AI search engineer, MLOps engineer, AI solutions architect, the list goes on. These roles are just exploding across IT services majors, fast-moving product startups, and global capability centers, or GCCs, especially in tech hubs across India, where companies are literally paying product company-level premiums for verified talent. All right, so you know the gap, you know the tracks, and you know the payoff. So let's dive into Section 4, Top Certifications in 2026, Recognized Credentials. Here's your rapid-fire overview of what's out there right now. If you're just starting out, look at foundational vendor exams like the Google Cloud Gen AI Leader or the Microsoft AI 901. And by the way, the 901 is officially replacing the older AI 900 exam this year in 2026. Both of those will run you around $99. Now, if you are a seasoned builder, you might want to target the rigorous AWS Certified Generative AI Developer Professional. That one sits at around $300. And if you're looking for self-paced, hands-on labs, IBM's Coursera certificates are incredibly accessible at about $40 a month. Now, I also have to mention the elephant in the room, OpenAI. They launched their first formal certification program late last year. So the crucial point is, while it is highly anticipated, access in 2026 is rolling out initially through very specific employer, public sector, and university pilots. It's an awesome credential to watch closely and prep for sure, but always double-check current global availability before banking on it for a strict job hunting deadline. Moving on to Section 5. Essential Gen AI Tool Stack, turning concepts to apps. Because look, passing a multiple-choice exam is great, but to actually win over a hiring manager, you need to turn those theoretical concepts into shippable products. Here are the specific technologies certified pros absolutely must master. On the developer side, Python is your absolute rock-solid foundation. From there, you've got to know how to connect to OpenAI, Claude, or Gemini APIs. You need orchestration frameworks like LangChain or Llama Index to connect your LLMs to memory and tools, and you must understand vector databases, like Pinecone, for example, to ground your models in real, factual data. But hey, don't panic. You don't need to learn all of this on day one. Let's move to and see how this builds step by step. Step 1, get comfortable with Python. Step 2, master the art of prompt engineering. Step 3, start programmatically calling models via those APIs. Step 4, use LangChain to build out multi-step workflows. And finally, Step 5, ground your applications using vector databases to build those RAG systems. That exact sequence, that is the golden ticket. Which brings us right to our final section.
Section 6. Your certification career path, beginner to expert.
Your journey basically happens in 4 stages. A beginner can prep for foundational exams like the AI 901 in just 2 to 6 weeks. Pushing to the intermediate level, where you're building basic RAG apps and tackling developer exams, that takes about 2 to 4 months of hands-on practice. Moving to advanced, where you're handling fine-tuning and AI agents, well, that's a 6-month-plus endeavor. And reaching expert status, architecting complex multi-agent systems at scale, that takes over a year. But the beauty is, each phase unlocks a totally new, way more lucrative tier of job roles. Ultimately, the professionals who climb the fastest operate on one very simple mantra: learn, build, ship, repeat. And this brilliantly illustrates that a recognized certification, when you combine it with a portfolio of real deployed projects, is simply the most undeniable proof of competence in the 2026 job market. The opportunity is literally sitting right in front of you. The talent gap is real, the roles are incredibly lucrative, and the learning paths are completely mapped out. The only thing left is your decision. In a market moving this fast, you really have to ask yourself, will you just talk about AI, or will you be the one building AI systems that actually ship? Get out there, start learning, and build your future. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.